Hello. For my experiment, I used Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development conservation. And Piaget states that the children usually understand conservation by the age of 7. And this understanding marks the key change from pre-operational stage to the concrete operational stage. And so what he means in certain properties such as objects and quantity and length and volume, they stay the same when their appearance changes. So some examples are like that you arrange two rows of pennies and then spread one out. An adult or older child knows the amount hasn't changed. And in the younger children that are on the pre-operational stage often think that the spread out row has more. So how I set up the experiment was I arranged rows of 10 objects, and the first 10 objects was the pennies, and then the next row was of popsicle sticks, of 10 popsicle sticks, and in both rows I had 10 objects, and then in one of them I had it more spread out in one row than the other one. So how I was able to collect data was I watched how the child reacted and noting if they saw or um, how the rows were spread out, if that affected how they answered their questions. There was a point where the student did want to count out the objects, and so in that time I did help him check the a total number, and he did show a stronger involvement in my data collection. Um, so the child's answers did show growth from the initial response. He did change his answer after he did count them out loud. And so the student did explain that there was the same amount on the top row that there was at the bottom row. So this experiment did show alignment with Piaget's theory of how children do develop thinking skills, and it hit specifically that children under the age of 7 mostly focus on the visual length, which shows the preoperational stage. And in this stage, they concentrate more on the specific features at a time. And then, however, when children do can count and understand the quantity, that it stays the same. And they're in this stage, they are thinking more in a concrete way. Um, in this student, he was in the middle of a 7 years and 8 years, and so I could see how he was switching from the pre-operational stage um, because he did go back and then he wanted to count how many were in the row. And this does align with his idea on conservation and indicates the important shift on how the child's thinking do develop. Thank you.